In that moment of change, it's very profound when one moment a person is breathing and the next they're just not. When we think about death, I guess very few of us would actually be able to say, I know what lies beyond death. I can tell you what I think, what I believe, what I hope. And a lot of what I think and believe and hope is related to the resurrection of Jesus, which is a very central part of the Christian belief. He appeared to his disciples after death, and they seemed to recognize him. They seemed to know who he was. So for me, that speaks of continuity, and it speaks of recognizability.
What does concern me about death is I actually wonder about the afterlife and whether we are reunited with our loved ones, the people who've gone before. And in a way that sort of caused me a lot of concern, because there are people in heaven that I may not actually want to meet again.
غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك.
Well, the Islamic view on death, God Almighty says in the Quran, "Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut," which means that every soul shall taste death. So basically, when we are born, we are going to die. It's one inevitability that's guaranteed. And in terms of how we view it, we believe that every single soul was created before humankind was created at the same time. And every soul has its specific time that is going to come onto the earth and go back. One of the verses of the Quran says, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un," which means to God we belong and to him we shall return. This period of our life is an examination period for us. And yes, it looks like that human beings are generally destroying the earth in every way possible. The reason why God's not interfering, because we believe afterwards, in the day of judgment, where we will be questioned about absolutely everything that we've done. In the Quran it says, فَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Meaning, I'll paraphrase that, literally every atom's worth of good that you've done, you'll see it on that day, and every atom's worth of evil or bad that you've done on that day, you will see it.
Sallallahu ta'ala ala habibi Muhammad. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
I definitely don't see death as the end of the road. Buddhism is a middle path, and it's a path between nihilism on the one hand and eternalism on the other. And part of the Buddhist practice is to see that life goes beyond this body. Probably the easiest way to explain it is that the central purpose of Buddhism is to understand the true nature of reality. And as part of that, we believe that consciousness exists beyond this body, so that's what will continue after I die. This body will just be jettisoned. I've lived to the age of 61, I've had a good life, hopefully I'll have more years. But on the one hand, life is very precious, but also on the other hand, my body is already starting to wear out, and I can see that process continuing, and at some point I will be ready to die. It's probably foolish to say you're not scared of death, but I think you can become more accepting of the fact.
If, for example, if you took someone's right away from them, yeah, or you defrauded somebody, or anything like that, where you hurt somebody else, yeah, you'll be questioned about that. So, in that sense, yes, I am afraid, because I fear that I will be exposed.
I think I'm scared of making a fool of myself on my deathbed. I really want to have something, worthwhile to say. Do I want everybody gathered around me, or do I just sort of want to go on my own? I think I'm probably scared of death at the moment because I think I've got a good few years left in me.
And so I'm not frightened. I've seen death many times. I'm not sure that I would look forward to how I might die. I've seen a lot of people die in pain. I've seen a lot of people die frightened. And there are terrible things that happen in the world, and people do terrible things to each other.
I would say the more I practice, the less I fear death. I mean, clearly I'm a human being, so I will have odd moments when I think about my own death, but they really are just odd moments.
There's so much to do in this very short space of time, and the thing is that you're not even guaranteed that you're going to live till 60, 70. I mean, I've been to funerals of a 6-month-old baby, 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds, all ages. Death doesn't discriminate.